Hey everyone, welcome back. Our last guest is a musician, playwright, author, and activist whose performances focuses on social inequalities, Blackness, and womanhood. She's performed throughout the United States and Europe on stages such as the Apollo, BBC, Roundhouse, Amnesty International, and for TEDx, and that's just to name a few. And now she's joining us to discuss her latest projects. Without further ado, please welcome Amyra León.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good today. We on the upswing. The sun always helps.
Well, yes, the sun definitely helps. And we're so delighted to be able to have you on, because the last time we were trying to get you on, you were in your whereabouts in London. And yes, I'm going to assume you were out there performing Vaseline.
Yes, I moved to London to work on a play, Vaseline, and I am now back, which is a really exciting moment and return. It's crazy to return amidst all this chaos, but I'm excited to be home,
Coming back, you came back right before the pandemic. Was it the pandemic that brought you back?
I came back at the height. I was thinking about moving back this year. I definitely wasn't gonna make it an urgent matter until I realized that I may not be able to come back at all. In March, I was doing a piece called Una Mujer Derramada, which is a piece that I was composing with a friend, and it was going up at Theatre du Châtelet in Paris. And so I was in Paris preparing for this huge performance at this amazing opera house with 2,000 people and a huge orchestra. And I was there, and every day we were like, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? And I was there when the French president banned live performances. We went from having 2,000 people that were gonna be, 2,500 people that were gonna be in the audience, to less than 200 who were allowed to enter the building. And then within 3 days, I was like, I gotta go, ran from Paris to London. London, was there for 2 days, packed up my whole apartment, my whole life, and moved back home. It was crazy. I got here like March 19th. So Europe was shutting down and New York was still like, la-di-da-di-da-da, So It was crazy to like, whoa, and then get home and be like, what's going on? And then not be able to really matriculate back into my community. So it was really intense. But
so it's lovely how you just gave us that whole visual, right? Because I was there with you, and it sounds really extravagant, and all this fabulous life of like performing out in the opera house. Pero I want to also introduce you to our audience before you do your improvised presentation for us, because I need them to know your origins and your background, because it's quite fierce, and you're a true inspiration in everything you do, not only in your voice, in your presence, in your choice of language. I know you're an author as well. So let's just like try and put as much as we can into this segment. Introduce them to what it means to be unstoppable.
Yes, thank you.
I think that's going to be the word.
Yes. Do you want me to introduce myself?
Well, no. The thing is that I know of your background, and I want you to share as much as you're comfortable sharing with regards to your origins to where you are now. I mean, we're over here talking about this fabulous life in Europe and traveling and performing, and you're like our Nina Simone of this era, right? Well, they're gonna get a taste of it later. However, your story is quite inspirational. So I want to share a little bit of that, but I want it to be what you're comfortable with.
Okay. Well, my name is Amyra León. I'm from Harlem. I was raised in the foster care system in New York City and adopted by an iconic Puerto Rican woman named Albatrosa León. And so, being adopted and not really knowing like my ethnicity, not knowing where I came from, only knowing the families in which I was living with, I started to write at a very young age and started to ask myself questions and build answers and tried to really create a space in which I was safe, because the world that I was being raised in and the environments and the homes that I was being raised in were very dangerous. Luckily, Harlem is also just this vibrant place where no matter who you are, how you are, what you are, in El Barrio where I was raised, come as you are accepted, you are loved, you are of worth, you know? And I think that Harlem has a lot to do with the confidence that I've been able to summon and to give into my work. You know, and I think that there's a level of audacity that exists in El Barrio because, you know, the resilience is something that we never got quite, wasn't really a choice. It was something that everybody was doing. We're thriving and surviving together. And if we allow ourselves to be present, there's always something to celebrate. You know, so a lot of people were being killed. A lot of people were going through this. I was going through court, a lot of stuff for a kid, you know, but there's always celebration. The music's always blasting from the window. The music's always inviting you to be safe with yourself and with your people, you know? And so when I found music, it became this huge offering that I didn't even know how to calculate. I didn't understand. I've only been singing for 5 years. Like I started singing in 2015. And once I started singing, it just didn't stop, you know? But yeah, in terms of everything, I really consider myself a person who works with words, a wordsmith of sorts. And I don't really choose a medium. The medium chooses me, you know? So I write books. Why? Because the words called me to the page. And then I write songs. Why? Because these words can't be read. They must be sung. And, you know, I'm working on films and a bunch of different things. And it really is about letting the words guide me into the medium in which they must be presented. So a lot of my work is based in, everything is based in improvisation, everything. Any recorded song you hear of me is the first time it's been recorded, ever. Like the words, that was the first time the words escaped my mouth. That was the first time the melody escaped my mouth. And then I'll go back and listen to those improvs and then add layers and give harmonies and get a guitarist on the track, you know? So yeah, it's been a really ever evolving thing, but because I don't have a manager, I don't have a team, it's just me making all of my decisions. I get to keep all my money too. But you know, I get to really do whatever I want because the industry I don't work around the industry. I kind of have created a relationship where the industry kind of works around me. My work might be on Spotify, but I don't care about that. I'm gonna make a tour because I know the people. And I'm always about putting the people at the center, not the press, not the marketing, not anything. It's the people. And if I get to know enough people, then we'll be creating something that lasts. And I'm only here to create things that last, you know?
Ooh, girl, I felt everything you just said. And on top of that, I'm excited. As you can see, I'm all like hyped.
Yes.
I know that you're gonna do an improvisation for us. And
Yes.
it's on the word that I choose, right? And the word already presented itself because it did organically. And that word,
I'm so excited.
It's unstoppable. Oh my gosh, we're gonna do that. Unstoppable. You ready for that? Oh, did she freeze? Yeah. It's all good because we're going to take a quick break. And then when we return, Amyra León, she's going to perform an improv with the word unstoppable. So don't
yes.